So today we'll be talking about Kibaki, and I think, from my personal opinion, I think he is the worst president we've had among the five of them, and here's why. First thing is that by the time we decided on Kibaki, he was like a saint. He was like a saint to the country, and he was the savior of the country, and he was the most learned about the economy compared to the rest, like even compared to Raila and the rest of the people. So he was the right man for the job. But what did he do in return? Kibaki took the seat, and within just a few months of us believing in him that he would end corruption, that he will build this country to its best potential, Kibaki took a U turn and only decided to develop one part of the country. That's what happened. Like, I'm not being tribal or against his people, but that's exactly what Kibaki did. Kibaki turned his back on the rest of the country and decided only to work for one specific type of people. So it's like Kibaki became a Gashagu. And to our surprise, or to his surprise, in 2007, no one wanted to elect that guy back because the entire country was fed up with him and his antics because we believed in this guy. We voted for him relentlessly, and he let the entire country down. So the first reason is we elected him as a saint, but by the time we wanted to remove him, he was the worst human. He was like the demon. And the second point is just on the point of election is that Kibaki was willing to kill the entire country. He was willing to let the entire country burn just for him to get the fake win. Because even him, deep down, he knows that he didn't win that election. That's why they were struggling to swear him in at midnight. But still, we allowed that to happen, and many people lost their lives. And surprisingly, it's Raila who stopped the deaths from happening because Kibaki was willing to let the entire country burn. Like, it's my fake win and I'm sticking to it. Fuck you. That's the legacy of Kibaki that people want to, like, the people want choose to avoid. And I think we need to talk about the evils that some of these politicians have committed so that we don't see them as heroes rather than we see them as the demons they were. Like the demons they were. That guy wasn't a saint, and I keep saying Kibaki wasn't a saint. Kibaki was the worst guy ever. He was willing to let the entire country burn. Even Ruto with the Gen Z Mandamano, Ruto really tried. Yes, people lost their lives, but not to the extent that Kibaki had let the entire country burn. So if you look at it in that perspective, Kibaki indirectly or directly killed the highest number of people just for him to retain the power. So he was willing to let the entire country burn. And I think the last reason why I think Kibaki was the worst president is that he claims that he was an economist. He claims that he built the country perfectly. And yes, the GDP ilipanda. Yes, tukapata kitu kama super highway. But now shida niko nayo na Kibaki ni moja. This beautiful thing you've nurtured, you take it and give it to two thieves. So it's like you are, as a parent, you create your wealth, you ensure that you have businesses, you have plots. Then at the end of it, you give it to a thief and a drunkard. Patia hivi endeleeni. And you take loans to fund their campaign. That's what Kibaki did. Kibaki is the reason we have Uhuru and Ruto. So as much as you want to blame Uhuru's bad leadership and Ruto's even more pathetic leadership, the guy that gave room for them was Kibaki. So Kibaki is still the bad guy because he gave us these two clowns, and Kibaki knew who is a good leader and who's not a good leader. Like, that guy was learned, that guy was wise. Among all the people we've had, he was the most level-headed. He's the one who could have done the most change, but he chose greed. He chose tribalism. He chose greed and people around him. So which legacy does Kibaki have? Yes, you want to remember those superhighways, but you have to remember the 207 thing. He was the biggest perpetrator. because he stole the elections and we saw it. And he gave room to the worst shit ever. We were in a democracy, and people thought that Kibaki was the most democratic guy ever. But come to find out that he wasn't even as democratic. So that's my third reason why I think Kibaki was the worst president. And maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree, maybe. And I'd like, if you have contrary opinions, at least you argue them out. Don't argue against my personality. Argue against what Kibaki did versus what maybe Ruto did. Because most people want to claim that Ruto is the worst president, but Kibaki did worse. Kibaki aliraid KTN. Uhuru was criticized like Ajay went to extreme. Ruto is criticized again to extreme, but Kibaki was willing to burn down media station. That's how bad that dude was. But we want to celebrate like a legend. Is he really a legend? Because siku moja pia kuna mtu atakuwa anatuforce to celebrate Ruto as a legend. But we've lived through Ruto, we've seen. I was a kid hiyo time ya Kibaki, and I saw that guy was a lunatic. Yes, there are good things he did, but mostly I remember him for the bad. Yes, now he's dead, but you dying doesn't haifanya ati vitu ifanye ikuwe poa. Hitler was a bad dude even when he's dead. Same to Kibaki was just a bad dude even when he's dead, because all his legacy is soiled by the 2007 post-election violence, the worst we've had in our country. And who was the orchestrator? Him. So that's my point of view. Peace out.
Oh my God! I may not be your best, and I don't claim to be, but I'm the one you have.
Son of soil, nikadili maombi. Son of soil, na mimi kiongozi. Son of soil, nimeandikwa kwa ngozi.